You are staring at your bathroom glass right now, defeated by a milky white shadow that refuses to die. You have saturated that glass in toxic fumes. You have scrubbed it until your shoulders ache. You have poured your money into brightly colored plastic bottles that promise miracles but deliver absolutely nothing. That chalky residue blinding your shower is not a stubborn stain. It is a biological and chemical cage designed by the very corporations selling you the cure. But there is a single microscopic mechanism we'll discover at the very end of this video that will instantly and permanently dismantle this billion-dollar illusion forever. But the real betrayal goes much deeper than a dirty bathroom. The home care industry is built on a $35 billion lie. They need your water hard. They need your glass porous. They need you trapped in a perpetual cycle of buying temporary chemical masks. The actual cure has been sitting on your baking shelf since you moved in. This is the truth that synthetic chemical conglomerates have spent 50 years and millions of dollars trying to erase from public record. And this is exactly where most consumers fall into the trap. In 1958, an industrial metallurgist named Dr. Arthur Pendleton was contracted by the British Royal Navy. His objective was seemingly impossible for the era. He needed to find a rapid, non-toxic way to descale the mineral-choked optical periscopes of nuclear submarines after months in hypersaline ocean water. The salt and calcium buildup was literally blinding the naval fleet. Commercial solvents were severely corroding the sensitive rubber seals. The military was completely desperate for a solution. Pendleton ignored the standard chemical catalogs completely. He went back to primitive molecular science to find an answer. Yet the breakthrough he documented was entirely accidental. Pendleton discovered that combining pure granular citric acid, commonly known as sour salt in the baking world, with ordinary potato starch created a terrifying rheological phenomenon. When mixed with a few drops of hot water, this crude paste did something devastating to calcium networks. It did not merely scrub the minerals away, it did not melt them down. It triggered a violent process called aggressive chemical sequestering. The citric molecules acted like microscopic grappling hooks on a molecular level. They violently ripped the calcium and magnesium isotopes straight out of the glass matrix. But here is the detail the cleaning industry desperately hopes you never learn. The starch simply held the aggressive acid in place while defying gravity. The military reports from November of 1958 showed a 99% complete mineral eradication in exactly 6 minutes flat. Absolutely no mechanical force or hard scrubbing was required. The cost to the British government was equivalent to 3 pennies per submarine treated. Pendleton was thrilled and prepared to publish his findings in major scientific journals. He believed he had cured industrial scaling forever. This is where the story takes a very dark and calculated turn. By 1961, major chemical manufacturers got wind of Pendleton's sequestering paste. They saw a catastrophic financial threat to their emerging domestic cleaning market. If housewives realized they could restore their own bathrooms with cheap baking supplies, the entire pipeline of expensive foaming sprays would collapse overnight. Internal memos from a leading European detergent consortium surfaced years later in a leaked corporate archive. The corporate directive was clear and ruthless. Pivot the marketing to convince the public that high-tech foams were the only hygienic option available. Label natural household acids as dangerous or ineffective for modern homes. They buried the sequestering paste under millions of dollars of television advertising. And their psychological manipulation worked flawlessly on the public. Fast forward to today, and look at your own home. Your shower glass undergoes severe thermal shock every single morning. The hot water blasts the panels at 105 degrees. If you want, I can continue formatting the rest of this script in the exact same style: clean, cinematic cuts, 0 word changes. Got it? Continuing exactly the same way, no words changed, only clean cinematic breaks, the glass expands rapidly. Microscopic fissures open up across the entire transparent plane. Hard water floods directly into those invisible cracks. When the shower turns off, the glass cools rapidly and the fissures snap shut. They literally swallow the calcium and silica alive deep inside the glass. Which brings us to the biggest scam in the grocery store all today. You walk in and buy a premium blue liquid, you spray it on, and it smells like synthetic pine and false hope. The alkaline chemicals in that bottle are physically too massive to penetrate the thermal fissures. They sit uselessly on the surface layer. They wash away the loose soap scum, giving you the illusion of a clean window for exactly 24 hours. But the embedded calcium remains completely untouched beneath the surface. It waits patiently, it multiplies silently. You blame yourself and assume you did not scrub hard enough. You go back to the store and buy a more expensive bottle. But science refuses to stay buried forever. In 2014, the Materials Science Department at the University of Melbourne decided to test historical descaling methods against modern commercial detergents. They placed heavily calcified shower panels under powerful electron microscopes. The resulting images were absolutely damning for the cleaning industry. Every single store-bought spray left a permanent root system of minerals buried deep inside the glass pores. But when they applied Pendleton's forgotten citric and starch compound, the results shocked the veteran researchers. The footage from the lab tells a story you simply cannot ignore. Within 3 minutes of physical contact, the starch swelled dramatically. It forced the highly concentrated citric acid deep down into the microscopic ravines of the porous glass. The researchers watched in real time as the acid violently dissolved the mineral roots. It converted the solid stubborn calcium carbonate into liquid calcium citrate. The solid white rocks literally turned into flushable water. The researchers rinsed the panel off. The glass was not just clean, but optically restored to factory purity. Now you are beginning to understand the massive scale of the deception. Let me tell you about a man named Marcus. Marcus runs a boutique 20-room hotel right on the brutal coast of Miami. The high humidity and severe hard water create a nightmare scenario. Every 2 years, his housekeeping staff would wage a losing war against the shower enclosures. By year 3, the glass in every suite was completely opaque. He was spending $14,000 replacing perfectly good tempered glass simply because commercial solvents failed completely. He hired elite restoration crews to try and save his budget. They charged him $100 a door just to temporarily polish the white haze away. It always came back within a month. Then Marcus stumbled onto the sequestering truth hidden online. He bought a 10-pound bag of food-grade citric acid for $12. He bought generic cornstarch from a local restaurant supply store. His staff mixed the thick paste in cheap plastic buckets. They applied it to the ruined glass of room 104, which was slated for a total bathroom demolition. They waited 6 minutes in absolute silence. They wiped it away with a damp towel. Marcus stood there staring at his own reflection in a pane of glass he thought was permanently dead. He immediately canceled the massive demolition order. He saved $14,000 in a single afternoon. The local restoration crews lost a massive client that day. This kind of financial liberation is exactly what terrifies the industry. The entire consumer chemical pipeline relies on your physical exhaustion. They design plastic bottles with ergonomic grips to make you feel like you are wielding a tactical weapon. They use neon synthetic dyes to trigger a psychological sense of extreme clinical power. It is all elaborate theater. It is a stage play designed to extract $40 a month from your wallet for the rest of your natural life. But today you break the cycle of dependency completely. Here is the exact chemical protocol the conglomerates tried to delete from history. Go to your pantry right now or visit the baking aisle. You need pure citric acid powder, which is often labeled as sour salt or canning acid. You also need standard cheap cornstarch. In a small bowl, combine 3 massive tablespoons of the pure citric acid powder with 1 single tablespoon of the cornstarch. The next step is where the true chemical magic actually happens. Slowly trickle in pure boiling water. Just add a few drops at a time. You must stir the mixture vigorously. You are not making a soup here. If you want, I can format the final part, the microscopic mechanism reveal ending, with even stronger pacing and tension still without changing a single word. Perfect, continuing exactly as requested. No word changes at all. Only clean scene-by-scene cuts. You are making a dense structural paste. The extreme heat of the water instantly activates the raw citric acid, while the starch gelatinizes rapidly. It should look exactly like thick translucent glue. Take a simple sponge. Smear this hot active paste directly onto your dry ruined shower door. Cover every square inch of the white milky haze. The starch will act like a chemical straitjacket. It will lock the acid precisely against the vertical glass. It will not drip or slide down to the floor. Now you must practice the hardest part of all. Step away from the glass. Do not scrub it. Do not touch it. Leave it entirely alone for exactly 6 to 8 minutes. Let the sequestering reaction do the violent microscopic work you could never achieve with your bare human hands. As the minutes slowly pass, you might actually hear a very faint fizzing sound. That is the literal sound of thousands of calcium chains breaking apart. That is the sound of your money staying safely in your bank account. What happens next will permanently rewrite your understanding of cleaning. Take a simple wet cloth. Wipe the thick paste away. Do not press hard. Just glide it gently across the glass surface. The white haze will not smear into a mess. It will completely vanish. Rinse the entire glass panel with warm water. You will see absolute flawless transparency. You are looking at bare virgin glass. The microscopic mineral roots are entirely gone. The corporate cage is finally broken. But we have to address the final layer of this industrial manipulation. Why did the window contractors stay perfectly silent about this? Why do the installation experts look at your bathroom and tell you the glass is permanently etched and ruined? Because the secondary market for replacement panels is worth $4 billion annually. They train their field technicians to identify stage 3 calcification. They strictly teach them to look at the milky haze and declare it a total structural loss. The technician gets a fat commission on the brand new door. The manufacturer gets another easy sale. It is a completely closed-loop economy built entirely on your lack of chemical knowledge. They fully know about the sequestering reaction. Industrial glass manufacturers use massive vats of raw citric acid to clean their own multi-million-dollar factory equipment. They just deliberately never put that chemical truth into the consumer manuals. The hypocrisy is almost too massive to comprehend. They use the 3-cent solution to protect their own assembly lines. But they sell you a $7 bottle of artificially perfumed water that does absolutely nothing. They insult your intelligence every single day. They actively drain your free time. Every Saturday morning you spend furiously scrubbing your shower is time stolen from your life by a board of directors sitting in a corporate high-rise. They laugh at the consumer. They call it the recurring revenue model in their boardroom meetings. But their perfect model possesses one fatal flaw. The flaw is the free spread of information. The internet was never supposed to allow molecular science to bypass the expensive television commercial. You were supposed to rely blindly on their marketing to understand your reality. But when the scientific truth costs less than a cheap cup of coffee and vastly outperforms their flagship chemical formulas, the dam finally breaks. You are the crack in their foundation. Every time you mix that simple paste, you rip a brick out of their empire. And this brings us to the promise I made you at the very beginning of this video. I told you there was one specific thing that changes absolutely everything. Here is the ultimate suppressed secret to shower glass. Once you strip the glass entirely bare with the citric paste, the pores are left wide open. If you leave them open, the hard water will inevitably return. But you will not let that happen. You will go to your garage right now. You will take a standard tin of automotive paste wax. The exact same cheap Carnauba wax you use to shine a car hood. You will buff a microlayer of that cheap wax straight into your perfectly clean shower glass. The heavy wax fills the thermal fissures permanently. The daily water will hit the glass and instantly shatter into tiny beads. It will roll directly into the drain. The calcium will never find a foothold on your glass again. You have just engineered an impenetrable, invisible shield. Your shower is now completely immune to hard water. You have achieved total, absolute victory using baking supplies and cheap car wax. You have completely bypassed a $35 billion industry trap. You possess the elite scientific knowledge they tried so desperately to bury. Do not let this secret die with you today. Send this video to your family. Send it to anyone who complains about cleaning their bathroom. Force the algorithm to push the real truth out there. Stop buying their expensive chemical lies. Stop funding your own physical exhaustion. The power is officially back in your hands now. Use it. If you want next-level engagement, I can also add timestamps, shot ideas, or viral pacing cues without touching a single word.